This world is burning down. I sleep to stop the sound from helping it along. Just where did we go? Just where did we go? Just where did we go?
Ugly doubt. It is the finale for the Ohio Sim Racing League here on the Racing Line Broadcasting Network for their 50-lap street stock finale. Only 2 points separate Kyle Finlayson and Randy Hedrick. Only 1 point separate the top two runners there in the points, Kyle Finlayson and Randy Hedrick, for the championship. The driver that finishes first will earn 50 points. The driver that finishes in second will earn 48 points in total. The heats also count as points, so that will be a key factor playing into tonight. 3 heats, 10 laps each, and then we head down to a 50-lap main event. Thank you all for tuning in here tonight on this beautiful Wednesday night, or Wednesday morning, maybe Thursday morning, wherever you are in the world. Thank you once again for tuning in here tonight. So, as usual, I am the one-man crew here, being Gary Weaver, giving you the pictures as you see them right now. So, really looking forward to seeing how this race will play out here tonight. 50 laps. I'm quite interested, really. I haven't been to Concord all that often here on iRacing, so I wonder how these drivers will take to this track. Fastest lap in practice, or at least as of right now in terms of qualifying, a 17.040 set by second place in points, Randy Hedrick. Kyle Finlayson, I don't believe has yet set any lap time for qualifying, just double checking the scoring sheet. In fact, he might not actually be here tonight. That would be a little bit of a shock in a sense, unless something is appearing wrong over on the timing screen. But other than that, we do have a minute and a half left here in qualifying. So once again, this is the Ohio Sim Racing League for their 50-lap main event. I'm really looking forward to seeing how exactly this will play out for tonight, because again, it's a sort of a mini Pocono in a sense. Right now, I'm just waiting for drivers to either start or finish up their lap times. 22 drivers so far have put in a lap time, the quickest now being actually a 17.051 set by Kyle Finlayson. So either I did not scroll up or I read a time wrong, but other than that, Kyle Finlayson, Randy Hedrick, P1 and P2, just like they are in the point standings coming into tonight's race. And of course, those also count as points. So unofficially, Kyle Finlayson should have 268 points, where second place being Randy Hedrick, he should have 266 points. So now it's a 2-point gap between P1 and P2. Again, those points will matter coming into the heats. And it will be, if we do get 9 cars within the heat, it will be 8 points for first place, 7 points for second place, so forth and so on, minus 1 point up until 9th place, where you do not get any points in any sort of fashion. So we'll see who will be starting where for this first heat. Heat number 1, going to be 10 laps. Everybody advances, and we have Kyle Finlayson on the very back row so far involved in this. So he and Hedrick will not be in the same heat. Right now, we'll see what these drivers will have in store for tonight, as heat number 1 will be underway in just a few short moments' time. As starting on the front row of heat number 1, we will have the 88 of Guy Van Meter. Second place going to be Kurt Walker. Third place is going to be Tommy Flanagan. Sean M. Musick, I believe is how that is pronounced, will be starting fourth. And then John Draggers will be starting in P5. 6th, 7th, and 8th will be Thomas Batier the second in P6. P7 will be the number 7 of Alex Corzin. P8 is going to be Cody Jayberg. And 9th place, your points leader, Kyle Finlayson, now by 2 points. Just waiting right now for the pace car to roll off for the first of 2 pace laps here tonight. Waiting for everybody to grid. The 87 has not yet made it to the grid for the time being, so we'll see if that has anything to do with this current situation. If the 87 either can't make it or is trying to make some last second setups. But at the moment, I don't think the 87 of Flanagan will make it to this grid. So I have an 8-car grid, and that means Finlayson will automatically get at least 1 point if he does finish in 8th place. Again, everybody is advancing, and of course the invert is the entire heat field. So we'll see how this goes with an 8-car field as the 87 does not make it to the grid. Pace car rolls off. I think Kurt Walker was in the wrong steering position for some reason. I think the 88 may have stalled it. Either that or got an EOL penalty for some reason, but I love the 88's paint scheme taking advantage of that chrome reflective paint scheme. That is absolutely incredible. That's a good design choice, having reflective numbers. I don't believe anyone else has a chrome paint scheme as of yet, so the 88 taking very much advantage of that as much as possible. So it'll be Kurt Walker on the outside and John Dreigers in the 51 who will be leading the field to the green once the pace car pulls off of this short chute. Only 3 turns here at this track. And we'll see how this goes as the pace car pulls off into pit road. The 51 of John Dreigers will bring the field to the green this time by, and it is all lights activated around the racetrack. Green flag flies, and we're underway at Concord for the first of 10 heats, and immediately a little bit of contact made between the front 2 runners, but immediately the 51 slides off the corner hard into the inside wall. The 15 is caught up involved. Kyle Finlayson, the points leader, as well as the 89 of Thomas Mateer the second. 3 cars already involved in a huge crash on the very first lap. I don't believe, actually, yeah, they will. Caution laps will count for now, as far as I know, but we'll have to see what exactly happened here. So we will bring up a replay as of right now to see what had happened. We saw it pretty much as that happened. The 51 immediately got loose off of turn number 2, and that banking change just did not help him in any way whatsoever. Gets loose on the exit, hard nose into the inside wall. The 51 gets caught up. Sorry, the 15 gets caught up, as well as the 89. It's nowhere to go for either of those 2 drivers, and the 15 might have gotten the worst of it because he pretty much went up and over for the most part. Not the best way to start off this race. There goes the 15, and yeah, I think he did flip over. He saw his back end come up just a little bit. But we will go back live here under live pictures as the pace car is still making its way around the racetrack. Lights will remain active as they cross the start-finish line. We'll get the pictures back up here just momentarily. Apologies for the delay in getting the picture back. Just want to make sure that everything is set up properly on the pace car. Until then, we should be getting the 1 to go signal this time by. Not entirely sure as of yet. But we will wait and see, as we should be giving you your pictures back right about now. So really looking forward to seeing how these drivers will now take to the track after that. Maybe it'll take it a little bit easier. Kyle Finlayson still has, he can still at least gain, he's currently in 7th, he can still gain at least 2 points to make it an even 270 points. Actually, lights will remain on still for the pace car, so we're really eating away at this time in the heats. Not sure as to why the lights on the pace car will not go off, but we'll see if they do choose to shut off this time around. All eyes on the iRacing Rough pace car the Racing roof pace car, and the lights will shut off this time around. It'll be Alex Korzen in control. Kurt Walker still restarting on the outside in second place. Sean Musick in third place on the inside, and the 70-22 of Cody Jayberg starts off in the fourth place position. Pace car pulls off the racetrack, field in control now of the number 7, 4 laps to go when we get the green flag. This time by, green flag flies, and we're back under green. Immediately, 22 goes way up top on the outside. Does anyone get loose off turn number 2? No, they do not. As 70 looked a little bit squirrely there, but they'll be side by side here for second place, as right now, or third place rather, as Korzen still continues to take control, and then Musick in the 70, or sorry, Musick in the 70. I've been reading that as Musick, unfortunately, but Musick a little bit squirrely there off of turn number 3 on the inside lane. This allows Korzen to really pull away with the lead, as it will be 2 laps to go this time around. The 22 trying to make a last-ditch effort for P2, trying to dive down into the inside lane, trying to make whatever work possible at any point, and he will get down to the inside lane. As they enter turn number 3, Alex Korzen still in the lead for the time being, as they drag race to the start-finish line with the white flag this time around. Alex Korzen, if he does not mess up, he will be able to finish in first place as a 2-door bang for second place. It will be a drag race here down into turn number 3, the 22 with the preferred lane, and the advantage on the corner exit. Now it's a drag race for third as the 22 gets second. And Kurt Walker will finish P3. Thomas Matier in fourth place. Sean Musick fifth. Guy Van Meter spinning, but he will finish in sixth. Kyle Finlayson just finishes in seventh, now making it an even 270 points. So now all the pressure will be on still P2 in points. Randy Hedrick still 266 points in the point standings as of qualifying, so he will have to finish at least fifth or better to either tie or break that lead, is what Randy Hedrick will have to do. So we'll see how everything goes and how that goes for the number 05 this time around, as the field is now gridded for the most part, just waiting for Randy Hedrick. This will be an 8-car heat race, and this will guarantee Randy Hedrick at least 1 point at minimum. Right now it will be Randy Smith and Kyle Fredrickson, row 1 and 2, the 12 and the 36. Kyle Ramsey in the 91 starts off in P3. Carl Phillips in P4. And the number 23, Rusty Author, starts in 5th. Cody Ditto starts off in P6. P7, Spencer Stineman and Randy Hedrick, who does make it to the grid, will start P8. I believe this is a little bit of a mandatory thing. Qualify front row, and at least qualify in the pole, and you get set to the back. So a little bit of a that's pretty interesting. A little bit of an interesting ruling there. So very intriguing as well. Never seen something like that. So it does make sense if everyone advances, especially in this case. So now Randy Hedrick should be guaranteed to at least maybe, at this point, get 2 points. But he still has to finish P5 or better, that number 05. So one more pace lap, and we will be green flag racing once again here for the second of 3 heats. Thank you for tuning in to the Racing Line Broadcasting Network here for the Ohio Sim Racing League, their finale here tonight. And it's just getting started here. Pace car pulls off the racetrack, field in control of number 91, Kyle Ramsey. Question is, when will he decide to take the green flag? As the green flag flies, he goes at the second restart line. It's a drag race to the line as well. And already with the advantage on the outside, Kyle Fredrickson, maybe no. At least it was for the time being on corner entry, but now it will be the 91 of Kyle Ramsey absolutely flying off the start. And I thought the 2 was going to dive to the inside. He does make it in, and he'll make contact with the light machine. 3 cars involved, the 37 tumbling on the front straightaway, the 12 also involved in the 2, heavily damaged, but the 37 may have to retire from this heat race after tumbling heavily on the front straightaway. And immediately, somehow, Randy Hedrick shot his way up to second place. Replay coming up on your screen here in a few moments' time. We're going to get everything set up here in terms of points just to make sure that everything is accurate. Just to make sure that we can accurately keep count. We will be showing you the replay here in just a couple of moments after what happened off of turn number 2. The 2 almost had it. We'll have to ride on board with him to see what exactly had happened. So he gets on the apron and loses the grip just a little bit. It's turned from behind, and that's pretty much all that there is to it. Maybe he got a little bit too greedy, trying to get some amount of positions, especially that first place position, just trying to use anything and everything to his ability. I'll ride on board as well with the number 12 machine, who had absolutely nowhere to go coming into this. Oh man, I think the 37 was trying to take advantage of that as well, trying to take advantage of the opening on the inside, and that just did not work in his favor in any way, shape, or form. So back live here under live pictures. Now let's see, 6 laps to go. We might get the green flag with at least 3 laps to go, just like we did before. Right now it's currently a, well, not currently, but coming into this heat, it was a 4-point difference between Finlayson and Hedrick. As of right now for Hedrick, who is currently in P2 on the outside, he will be well ahead, so give that a little bit of a +7 to that 266 points, and you have 273 points for Kyle Hedrick. Sorry, Randy Hedrick, I should say. Apologies for that. Kyle Finlayson currently at 270 points coming into this race, so if Hedrick can keep this position and at least stay above P4, he will be absolutely A-okay. But Kyle Ramsey says, well, you know what? I'm going to race with you either way, no matter what. As he'll try to do the best they can to retain that first place position as they drag race down the short chute down into turn number 3, nearly making contact again, and the 91 spins out in turn number 3. Caution comes out, and that might be the end of the heat, and the 2 again is involved in another accident. Spencer Stineman was also P4 coming into this race. In terms of the point standings, I don't believe he will be able to, not exactly sure what's going on with the pace car today, but alright then. Not sure if Spencer Stineman will be able to really make any sort of a challenge after this. He was, Spencer Stineman coming into this race, 222 points, so not exactly much of a shot. And that was especially if the front 2 runners did not show up, but either way, we'll see what exactly happened here off of turn number 3. And so it looked to be just a little bit of a loss of grip for the number 91 machine, and yet that's all it was. So the 2 again getting involved, and I think there was more wrecking up ahead as well. Some really true definition of a multi-car incident. The 71 of Cody Ditto, who is currently P3. The caution has settled itself out. We'll see how he somehow made it through that. He did lose a little bit of grip and got a lot of contact. And again, possibly some suspension damage by the look of that. We will be going back live, and it is the checkered flag for this second heat. Randy Hedrick finishes first, Kyle Fredrickson second, third place Cody Ditto, Carl Phillips fourth, fifth Randy Smith. Rusty Arthur finishes sixth, Kyle Ramsey seventh, and Spencer Stineman will finish eighth. So that is now 8 points towards Randy Hedrick, and a 4-point difference now. So it's only 274 points versus Hedrick at 274 points versus versus 270 points for Finlayson. So now this is really where it will matter in this final. Well, not exactly this heat specifically, but it will matter in this final race as we have one more heat to go. 113 did not grid, so the field is in control now of the 00 of Blake Ripley, who will roll off in first. Second place will be Jeffrey Mathis. Britt Van Meter will start in third place. Fourth place will be Brad Becker. Fifth place will be TJ White. Sixth for Brendan Thomas. And rounding out the 7 cars will be Matt Cucker. I haven't seen that name in a while, so good to see him around. So we will see how this final heat race will play out. And apparently did not set a qualifying lap. That's why some drivers have been getting EOLs after starting on the heat. So that is a lot more understandable. Thank you for that information. As we will be going green flag racing this time by for another 8 laps. Another 10 laps rather. And immediately multiple drivers trying to just use whatever lane possible. Blake Ripley with a great jump in the lead. 27, not the only driver. The 88, not the only driver to use the matte and chrome as the 21. They're trying to dive into the inside, and that will not work. A quick spin for the 21, and the caution is out. A lot of things happening at once there. That 21, unfortunately, was the not exactly the sole survivor of that incident there. Riding on board with Brendan Thomas here. Tried to dive it in. Didn't really work too well. Luckily, stayed out of the way for the most part of everybody. And I get refired as well, but that just unfortunately did not work for Brendan Thomas that time around, especially off the main start. Not the best time either. Get one more angle of this. As we see, the 19 gets a little bit too wide. 21 tries to take advantage and ends up spinning right around. Luckily kept his foot in it enough to warrant a little bit of a avoidance for everybody else. So back on live pictures now. As we will see how many laps we have this time by. As unfortunately the overlay not cooperating fully at the current moment, but will be settled at some point as lights are out on the pace car. So we'll be getting a 5-lap shootout to the end of this heat. Blake Ripley still in control. Britt Van Meter restarting second. TJ White restarting in P3. Jeffrey Mathis will be restarting fourth. Brad Becker restarting fifth. Tucker and Thomas 6th and 7th as the green flag flies once again. 5 laps to go this time by, and immediately TJ White goes for the inside lane, and I don't blame him one bit. Taking advantage of any and every possible opening on this racetrack, within reason, of course. But TJ White will move up to P3 or P2 as right now. Oh man, close contact. Brad Becker spins off in turn 1, and somehow that's worthy of a caution. And that will be the end of the heat. Unfortunately, that will be the end of the heat, so again, just a lot going on, a few trouble spots here and there around this racetrack, not really wanting to cooperate with these drivers. It was a little bit of close moment for Becker there with Mathis off of turn number 3. Got a little bit loose, got up just a little bit, tried to give some room, and ended up just suddenly losing a live grip with that entry. Somehow that was worthy of a caution. Either way, we will be going back live. Your finishing order here as we are at the 2 to go signal. Soon to be one lap to go at the start-finish line. It'll be Blake Ripley, TJ White, Britt Van Meter, Brendan Thomas, Jeffrey Mathis, Matt Cucker, and Brad Becker. So if I'm somehow pronouncing Matt's last name incorrectly, please let me know. I'm just going off of how I had last read his name the last time I was on, last time I'd seen him actually, in a different league. And no one corrected me there, so I just wanted to be sure. Other than that, it will be a 5-minute warm-up here after this heat. So the checkered flag flies. Blake Ripley will win heat number 3, and will be in for a very, very intriguing final 50-lap race here for the finale. 4 points separate. Apologies for that. 4 points will separate Randy Hedrick from Kyle Finlayson here tonight, at least roughly and unofficially. So we will be right back here in a few moments' time, as we're going to take a quick commercial break as these drivers take one more 5-minute warm-up here for tonight's event. Don't go anywhere. This is the Racing Line Broadcasting Network with the Ohio Sim Racing League, and we'll be right back here in just a few moments for your starting grid here tonight.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Coming into tonight, it was 262 points for Kyle Finlayson versus Randy Hedrick's 261 points after last week. But now the tides have completely turned upside down. It's Randy Hedrick now 274 points with Finlayson's 270 points, at least pending that the points from the heats will be counted in the final points. The starting grid is now about to roll off in just a few moments' time as everyone's starting to get lined up here for the main event and the final race of this season. Starting on the front row, it will be the number 84 of TJ White. Kyle Fredrickson starts off in the second place position. Cody Jayberg starts off in P3. P4 will be Blake Ripley. Randy Hedrick rounds out the top 5. That will be something to note. Alex Corson starts off P6. P7, Kurt Waller. P8, Cody Ditto. P9, Britt Van Meter. And rounding out the top 10, it will be Thomas Matier, the second. Carl Phillips starts off in 11th, 12th place. Brendan Thomas, Brendan Thomas, P13. Sean M. Musick. Randy Smith starts off in P14. Jeffrey Mathis starts 15th. Guy Van Meter, 16th. 17th is Rusty Arthur. P18, Brad Becker. P19, Kyle Finlayson, all the way, far away from Randy Hedrick. Kyle Ramsey starts off in P20. Matt Cucker starts off in P21. John Draggers starts 22nd. 23rd, Spencer Stineman. 24th, Casey Flegel. And rounding out your top 5 field is going to be Tommy Flanagan. And now it's just a matter of waiting and holding your breath at this point. It will be a 50-lap main event. Randy Hedrick already might have been sent to the back, actually. So hopefully we can get a reason as to why. But until then, they're actually already making contact. They stacked up a bit too much. Everyone might be holding off as a gentleman's agreement this time around, but everything seems to be A-OK as for Green Flag Racing 50 laps at Concord, North Carolina, in the final race of the Ohio Sim Racing Street Stock Series already, and we'll see how all the field fan themselves out into P1 and P2. Waiting at the start-finish line, multiple drivers will be side by side around P7. It is a battle between Cody Ditto in the 71 up top, Britt Van Meter in the 27 on the middle, who actually be falling back. It's going to be the middle 3 wide here as they just somehow barely managed to make it through and sort themselves out for this time being. As right now, 21 just scrapes the wall. Brendan Thomas trying to keep that car under control as much as possible here. As I believe Britt Van Meter tried to make a move to the inside. He does, of Kurt Waller. This is for P7 here on the racetrack. P4, however, side by side between Kyle Fredrickson and Blake Ripley. They're P3 and P4 respectively. I'll try and get the graphics up as soon as possible. But right now for the lead, the 22 of Cody Jayberg passes TJ White, new leader, 3 laps in. And it is the number 22 machine. Blake Ripley P3 right now for the time being as he dives into turn 1. And right now the 36 trying to find whatever lane is possible to work as a huge crash on the back straightaway. 18 of Kurt Waller hard into the inside wall. The 27 got a piece of it. First caution within 50 laps, and it's a hard hit for the 18 on the inside wall who manages to get that car back going. Not exactly sure as to what had happened here, but we will see once we get everything sorted out and squared away. Slow motion here, looking at the number 18, who already looks to be a little bit loose, keeping on the 27. And yeah, it looks like just a little bit of a difference of momentum, and the fact that the 18 was already sliding out of the way. The 21, Brendan Thomas, great awareness. The 27 just locks up the brakes, and I don't believe. Look at those brakes heat up in the 27 machine. Absolutely, and there it is. There's the huge contact on the 27, sending him up on 2 wheels, Hollywood style, and may have made contact with the 19. He does. Maybe just a few scrapes or so, but going to be riding on board with the number 19 of Jeffrey Mathis, who may have gotten a piece of that, may have just barely gotten away with that. We'll see. 27 avoids it. The rebound, not so much. And, well, they just lucked out there. So going back live right now to your live pictures, your top 2 runners being in the points, Kyle Finlayson, who currently sits P14, and Randy Hedrick, who currently sits P18. That is what is going to matter here at the end of this race. So we'll see, well, at least the rough calculations will be showing here by the end of tonight. So the pace car will pull off right now back into pit road, and we'll see how the field fares this time by. As the green flag flies, already getting a little bit too eager. It's the 00 on the start. Green flag back down. The 87, or the number 7, did not get going. So it's the 36 that did not get going on the outside lane. But right now it's going to be TJ White trying to fight back on the outside. Does Blake Ripley make it 3 wide? He does not. There's not really enough room there on the inside lane, unfortunately. And the caution is back out. Huge crash in the, wow, massive crash off turn number 3. It's a pile up in the parking lot. Multiple drivers involved. No idea what had happened. Trying to look for your championship drivers. Finlayson may have a little bit of damage from that. Hedrick, no idea where he is at the moment, but a huge crash already off of turn number 3. Not even sure what happened, but a huge parking lot essentially off of turn 3. No idea what happened. The 15 was for sure caught up in this, however, and we'll see how exactly this had started off of turn 3. Did the driver get loose, or was someone, or did somebody make contact? We'll see here from the chopper camera angle. Number 19 slides right in front of the 23. Might have gotten at least a paint scratch from that if he was lucky enough, but may have actually been gotten the arrow a little bit loose and made contact. Maybe also made contact, but definitely made contact with the 27 machine. And that just started the massive pileup. Sort of the 05 and the, well, there's the 15. Both the 15 and the 05 were involved. I think the 05 more than the 15. Everyone involved here off of turn number 3. It's a huge, huge pileup. And there's just nowhere for anybody to go here off of turn number 3. All field is currently on the final pace lap. So we will be getting your pictures back here momentarily. We'll see how this restart goes from up above. Possibly back down track side. The 00 again pushing the back bumper of the 22, and it's already 3 wide on the inside. Somebody decided to go for it and immediately backed off. A very, very sportsmanlike and smart move. But right now it's still side by side between TJ White and Cody Jayberg. And it's a little bit of an asphalt slide job as the 36 slides Kyle Fredrickson. It's another huge, massive crash off turn number 3 again. Another pileup. And the 36 went over the pit wall and flipped over up onto his side. That's more worthy of red flag than a caution. No idea who was or was not involved at this point. But it is absolute chaos here once again off turn number 3. It's not just the short shoot between turn 1 and turn 2, but the entire track essentially, just save for the front straightaway. The only safe space here at this racetrack is basically just the front straightaway, so we'll see what exactly had happened here. As the 36 had spun out. Didn't really see how anything else had transpired though, unfortunately, so we will see what exactly had happened. Replay up on your screen right now, makes a little bit of contact and immediately gets pushed over the wall. The 19 involved, the 2, the 18 flips over, gets tagged by the 87. 147 also involved. At this point, it might be a mini Martinsville / Pocono at this point with how narrow the track is in a sense, and the banking not exactly helping these cars keep their grip, especially on corner exit of turn 3 and corner entry or so, corner exit maybe of turn 1. Kyle Finlayson is currently P8. Randy Hedrick, not exactly sure where he is at the moment, double checking the scoring sheet. And he's currently in 12th place. Just wanted to make sure before anything was said. So, lights on the pace car will remain on for the time being. I'm seeing that tail light flashing. Right now it's Kyle Finlayson with the lead for the time being in the point standings. He will have to finish at least, just to double check, at least in a sense, 4 points ahead. So Kyle Finlayson has to finish 2 positions ahead of Randy Hedrick. Maybe 3 at most to for sure get that win by at least 2 points. And at the moment, he has already done that. Kyle Finlayson is already 6 points ahead of Randy Hedrick. Currently P9 versus P12, where P9 will get 36 points, P12 gets 30 points. And, well, that's pretty self-explanatory for the time being, so we'll see how this plays at the end. Might be miscalculating, just thinking it through, but other than that, we will see how this restart goes. Closing in on the halfway portion of this race here tonight. I thank you all for tuning in once again to the Race Online Broadcasting Network here for the Ohio Sim Racing Street... Goodness gracious. The Ohio Sim Racing Street Stock Series, as the restarts have looked to be changed to single file now by Race Control. I'll see how this fares. So Cody Jayberg in the 22 immediately decides to go very early on, trying to lead and extend the field. That may have been actually a wonderful idea, as the green flag flies with 29 laps to go, 28 at the start-finish line, and it will be a top 3 breakaway here as they make their way down into turn number 3. Unfortunately, we cannot show the live gap between drivers, so unfortunately we will have to only show the car numbers for the time being, but we are closing in again on that halfway point. We'll see how this goes, as everyone is having a much better time, especially for Kyle Finlayson. Randy Hedrick, however, has to get at least directly behind Kyle Finlayson to definitely for sure clinch that championship, to even clinch it even more, finish in front of Kyle Finlayson, as we keep an eye on this battle for P4, as it's a little bit defensive on the inside lane by the 00 Blake Ripley. Maybe a little bit too defensive, but the 7 of Corson has lost grip on that corner entry, and he will be relegated now to P5, maybe P6 if Randy Smith can get the pass done. He decides not to. backs off on the inside lane. Randy Hedrick trying to battle on the inside lane, making contact side by side, trying to get by Rusty Arthur. Now it's a 4-point difference, just like it was coming into this final race after the heats have been decided. And the lap times between the two of Hedrick and Finlayson right now, the last lap time is about a 10th faster Randy Hedrick is. And you see how far the breakaway is between your top 7. However, we go to your next battle on the racetrack. Kyle Finlayson trying to get by Spencer Stineman. Or Spencer Stineman trying to pass Kyle Finlayson, rather. And this will put him in the clutches of Randy Hedrick directly behind, as we are well past halfway at this point. That's mostly damaged, sort of damaged 15 versus the 05, who's relatively clean. He'll try and pass on the outside lane. This, again, is for the championship. And right now, Randy Hedrick doing a wonderful job keeping that car under control on the outside lane. The 15 has been pushed back by now 6 points, I believe, if my math is correct off the top of my head. But all will be said and done by the end of this race. That single file definitely did work wonders for all these drivers. Everyone is a little bit calmer now, in a sense, a little bit less... not exactly aggressive, but a little bit less... some type of word that unfortunately will not come to the top of my head. But right now, the lead battle between TJ White and Cody Jayberg is a little bit stagnant for the time being. 00 of Blake Ripley and the 71 of Cody Ditto. P3 and P4 respectively. They are trying to battle between amongst themselves for the podium position, and with 18 laps to go this time around. All right, now you see how close that 71 is to the back bumper of Blake Ripley. Checking back in and around your top 10, Spencer Stineman has gotten by the 05 of Randy Hedrick. Kyle Finlayson has fallen back now to P12, unfortunately. So that battle for P3 will continue, as the 71 is just all over that back bumper, trying to somehow, some way, apologies for the back bumper of the 00, but Cody Ditto trying to somehow get up in front into P3. That will not work for the time being. It's pretty stagnant, as well as the lead between your front two runners, who is now, have now just run into a little bit of lap traffic. That's the 147 of Brad Becker. Had a little bit of trouble in the heats, and now definitely just trying to at least make it to the end of this race. He's currently 15 laps down, but at this point he just wants to finish the race on the racetrack in some fashion. TJ White now lining up those front tire brakes. Cody Ditto trying to use the try to use the 147 as a pick to pass, but it just will not work at all in any way, shape, or form. The 7 of Alex Corson is also right behind this top 3 battle. And speaking of battles, I believe the gap between TJ White is clearly closed. The question is, how can that 84 make that gap just a little bit closer and closer as much as possible? As the 71 puts the bumper to the puts his front bumper to the back bumper, the 00, trying to have a little bit of a bump and run maybe. Here comes Randy Smith from out of absolutely nowhere, trying to get as many positions as possible, at least in the top 5. He will battle Alex Corson. Slide up just a little bit. Can Corson get the crossover? He will not be able to, as it's also battle between P7 and 8. Actually, there is not. Apologies for that miscommunication. A few battles have started to ramp up for sure here in these final 10 laps. And right now, I think that 84 has managed to find the momentum enough to stick with the 22, but does he have the momentum to get by the 22, or at least alongside, maybe even on the inside lane? He's closed the gap just a little bit more. And he's trying to do whatever he can to do within reason, of course, to try and get into that lead. So the battle for the lead with 7 laps to go has come down to this. Maybe this could be even the pass for the win here at this point, but 84 of TJ White, desperate, trying to do anything and everything that he can. Trying to catch up in some way. We should be seeing the 84 on the inside. There he is. Both these two drivers trying to drive their hearts out for this win here tonight with 6 laps to go, especially TJ White. He is so close. He can see the win quite literally right in front of him. As right now, Stineman and Hedrick still battling it out for P9. A caution is out. This will not be the end of the race, I don't believe. Unless we do get a green-white checker, unless green-white checkers are enabled. It looks to be the cause of the caution from number 19 of Jeffrey Mathis, as he had immediately towed it to pit road, and we'll see what happened to the number 19 here as to what brought out the yellow flag here. Was it him in the 15? Did he blow up? I believe. Yep, there it is. So 19 immediately blew up on the front straightaway, pulls it off to the side, trying to roll it. And at that point, he probably could have made it off the racetrack if he kept rolling, but I'm pretty sure he did not want to become a little bit of a hazard more than he could have been on that corner entry. So a little bit of a smart move in a sense to try and, rather, instead of trying to take away that inside lane from any lead lap cars, rather use the inside lane and just pull off, immediately stop, and at least risk bringing out the caution. So now, we'll see how this goes. TJ White running on the apron. Is he going to pit road? He is not. Thought he was for a moment. So now, it will be 2 laps to go at the start-finish line, and really the moment of truth. And we'll see if the race will be extended or not. Going to wait for iRacing's call here. Not hearing anything, so this might be the race end for this series, or for the season. Gonna wait for the white flag just to make sure. Even if there will be a white flag that will be flown. We'll make some quick calculations and we'll wait for the iRacing points to update at the end of this event. White flag is out, so this will be the final lap of the race. Cody Jayberg wins after TJ White was hounding him those final few laps. Blake Ripley will finish in 3rd. Cody Ditto finishes 4th. 5th place will be Randy Smith. 6th place it will be Alex Corzin. 7th, Thomas Matier the 2nd. 8th place, Brendan Thomas. 9th place, Randy Hedrick. And 10th place, Spencer Stineman. We'll get to the rest of your field here in just a few moments' time, but coming across the start-finish line off turn number 3, it is for the finale of this season, and I believe 2020. It will be Cody Jayberg in the 22 taking the win here at Concord, and it will be unofficially Randy Hedrick taking the championship win in P9 here after coming in 1 point behind. Don't go anywhere, of course. We will be making sure that the points will be correctly calculated, and by just to make sure everything is 100% official in a sense. The 22 will be burning it down, as well as the 05 here on the front straightaway. We might get dual burnouts here. The 09 and the 22 and the 05 both trying to celebrate. And there it is. Somebody's possibly not happy with someone else in pit road, but other than that, I see them doing burnouts here on the front straightaway. Absolutely incredible sight. As well as teammates over in turns 3 and 4. Turn 3, I should say. So we will go ahead and head to your finishing results. We are not just done yet tonight. We will head to your finishing results here for the night. 05 continues to do burnouts. We see the final unofficial finishing results here for tonight being Cody Jayberg finishing P1, TJ Watt finishing second, third place Blake Ripley, fourth Cody Ditto, Randy Smith rounds out your top 5, and Alex Corzin, Thomas Mattia the second, Brendan Thomas, Randy Hedrick, and Spencer Stineman finishing 6th through 10th. And the rest of your 25-car field, it will be Rusty Arthur, Tommy Flanagan, Kyle Finlayson, Jeffrey Mathis, Brad Becker, John Dragers, Kurt Waller, Kyle Fredrickson, Britt Van Meter, and Carl Phillips. Unfortunately, majority of these drivers did not finish this race under power. Matt Cocker in 21st. 22nd will be Sean M. Musick. Guy Van Meter finishes 23rd, 24th Kyle Ramsey, and 25th will be Casey Flegel. So we'll be right back in just a quick moment, but we're going to double check the points right now just to make sure, see if they have or have not updated here for the final race. So instead of going to commercial, we will go ahead and pretty much just talk about this race. It was absolutely incredible, and in my opinion, absolutely definitely does have, unfortunately, its downfalls, and of course the cars and the track definitely combined well to an extent, but pretty much most of these drivers are having a few issues, especially with turn 3 being the major problem spot, with a lot of drivers getting involved in accidents that were spinning off the corner. More often turn 3 rather than turn number 1 as it was earlier on, oddly enough. So that is something to definitely think about for the next time. But as for the point standings, double checking right now, and the points have officially come in as of right now. So your champion by 308 points, or with a total of 308 points, is Randy Hedrick. Kyle Finlayson, second place, 296 points. So very close to breaking into that 300-point barrier. But Randy Hedrick officially your champion here for tonight in the Ohio Sim Racing Street Stock Series. So we thank you all for tuning in to the Ohio Sim Racing League, into the Racing Line Broadcasting Network to watch the Ohio Sim Racing League. And we hope to see you again next time. At the moment, it's going to be a temporary hiatus a little bit in terms of YouTube due to everything going on. But we should be back in 2020, if not sooner, for another one-off race in the remainder of this month. So we thank you all for watching, and we hope to see you all next time here on the Racing Line Broadcasting Network. I've been Gary Weaver, and we hope to see you next time. Congratulations to Cody. Unfortunately, his name I somehow can remember but cannot pronounce. Cody Jaber, I believe. Just going to double check. Jay Berg. Congratulations to him on the race win. Congratulations to Randy Hedrick for his championship win this season. Good night from Concord.